Welcome to Teaching Truth. Well, as I was saying, Hills, we have maps of Germany, general maps that is. We have all the information we need for the escape routes out of Germany, but what we do not have is a clear idea of what's 200 yards beyond those trees. We've tried every gun in the camp, no go. We must know the exact position of the local town. We want to know where we hit the main roads, where the police stations are, where they've got their roadblocks, and most important of all, we've got to know how to get from here to the railway station. The charge given to Captain Hiltz, the irreverent American soldier, famed for his baseball and motorbike stunts by squadron leader Roger Bartlett in the mother of all war movies, The Great Escape. The 12 spies were a group of Israelite chieftains, one from each of the 12 tribes, who were dispatched by Moses, who were charged by Moses to go and scout out the land of Canaan, to go and essentially do a reconnaissance for 40 days as a future home for the Israelite people when the Israelites were in the wilderness. You see, God had promised hundreds of years previously to Abraham through his son Isaac that there would be a promised land for the nations. The land of Canaan that the spies were sent to explore was the same promised land. And just like squadron leader Roger Bartlett in The Great Escape, asking for Hiltz to obtain information about what was 200 yards beyond the trees, so Moses, in an altogether different sense, was asking the spies for information of what was beyond the wilderness where they were. Moses asked for an assessment of the land's geographic features, the population strength and numbers, the agricultural potential, the performance of the land, the way the city was set up. Was it a camp? Was it a stronghold? And he asked them to be positive in their outlook and to return with samples of the local produce. Moses charged the spies to undertake a reconnaissance exercise. However, during their reconnaissance, during their tour, the 12 spies saw fortified cities. The 12 spies saw resident giants, which frightened some of them and led them to the conclusion that the Israelites would not be able to conquer the land as God himself had promised. And as we alluded to a few days ago in our reflections, 10 spies decided to bring back an unbalanced report, emphasizing the difficulty of the task which lay ahead. Now, corresponding to the 40 days that the spies undertook this reconnaissance of the land, God decreed that the Israelites would wander in the wilderness, not for 40 days, not even for 40 weeks, indeed not even for 40 months, but for 40 years. 40 years due to their unwillingness to take possession of the land, to take possession of that which had been promised. Break camp and advance was the clarion call which was being made. Now, this is set against the backdrop of the Israelites having been rescued from 400 years of slavery. They had walked through the Red Sea, the waters had parted, they had watched the Egyptian army drown, they had been miraculously guided through the wilderness, and had been promised a land flowing of milk and honey. Miracle after miracle, blessings after blessings. And all they had to do, it was quite simple really, when you think about it. All they had to do was to trust and obey, for there was no other way. Now let me pause there and invite the question, as I invite it of myself. How has God blessed you in the past? Be it over the last 40 minutes, 40 hours, 40 days, 40 weeks, 40 months, perhaps over the last 40 years. Is there evidence in your life of God's promises fulfilled, of the blessings of God? Just pause and reflect and count your many blessings, count them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Those blessings might be a job, an education, a home, a relationship, a person that God's brought into your life, a circle of friends, a warm and welcoming church. How has God blessed you? Count your blessings, because that's what the Israelites really failed to do, to count their blessings. Well, how the 12 spies responded and reacted to the promised land is quite interesting and revealing. See, these 12 spies travelled throughout the same land, probably walking together. They saw the same things, they saw the same people, they saw the same towns and cities, they saw the same fields. But they came to two completely different conclusions. 10 were negative and 2 were positive. Let me finish with this. God has provided for you and I a great escape from the bondage, as it were, of Stalag Luft 3 in our lives, to a land flowing with milk and honey. God provided for the Israelite people a great escape from the wilderness situation which they were in, from the camp which they were part of. They were to break camp and advance. God has provided a great escape from the land of slavery into a land flowing with milk and honey. How we respond like the spies to that great escape which God has provided for us is really, really important. Break camp and advance has been the theme for our reflections this week as we've journeyed with Moses from the cradle to the grave. Is God challenging you right now and this week, whatever that situation might be, to break camp and to advance? You see, just like the spies in Moses' day, how we respond will ultimately determine our destiny.